You know what time it is. Movie review of Us, Jordan Peele's latest thriller movie. Overall, I thought the movie was really well done. Now, I went into this movie expecting it to be like a lot scarier than it was, but I was happy to say that it was not a bunch of cheesy jump scares and just like seriously disgusting things. It was more just kind of like a thriller with some uncomfortable stuff in it, which I personally was a big fan of. I am not a huge horror guy, and so I much enjoyed it. It was a thriller movie and not a horror movie. And so I just want to reiterate, it's not a horror movie, it's a thriller movie. And so if you're going into this thinking it's going to be really, really scary, it's not really scary. It's more of just a very interesting story with a really cool twist. The basic premise of this movie, without spoiling anything, is that there's copies of everyone on the planet who are called like the tethered, and they basically have to mimic your movements. And so it makes for some very, very interesting like actor interactions because they're like interacting with a different character that is themselves. And I just thought they did a really phenomenal job. All the actors in this movie did a phenomenal job with all of that. By far, my favorite thing about Us is the score. It is phenomenal. It's just so good. Every single scene has this like creepy, eerie vibe that is just fits the scene perfectly, and they'll have things that match up with the screeching and the music. Not screeching, but like the violin in the music, and it's everything is perfect. It's like a very, very fine addition to the movie. The score is phenomenal. I didn't even realize it, but they basically turned Five on It, like that awesome song, into like a creepy horror anthem pretty much. And it's like that's kind of the main theme, is like a horror rendition of Five on It. And I just thought that I was blown away by that. That was so cool. If you're a fan of music, or just scores in movies, you'll definitely really love this. I think, at least. So if you're into that, just go see this movie just to see that and close your eyes. Now, I've seen a couple complaints about this, but I think the humor in this movie was actually very well done. I think Jordan Peele is probably best known for his comedy stuff. He's a funny dude, and I think what people don't realize is that in kind of really horrible, messed up situations, people often turn to humor to kind of cope with things. And so I think that was kind of what was going on in this movie. Maybe not. I may be looking into that too much, but I didn't think any of the comedy was really that out of place. I thought it was a nice breather from some of the really intense stuff where you've got kind of jokes. I mean, like there's one scene where the dad is basically saying like, "Oh no, we should stay here," and then I forget who it was, but one of the other family members is like, "Oh yeah, that turned out really great for like them," and then they're referencing like their dead friends on the floor who are like bleeding out. They're just like having a dinner and watching the TV in the living room with like all their dead friends like on the floor. And I think if you're like in that mindset where you've been like being chased by people who look like you and are trying to kill you, yeah, I think you kind of be a little messed up in your head at that point. You're not really sure how to cope with things and kind of in shock. So I didn't think that was that out of place. Yeah, it's just there was just like little light humor stuff in there that I personally enjoyed. I thought it was a nice little breather. There were a couple parts where I was genuinely laughing, and I'm not entirely sure that I was supposed to be laughing, but I also laughed at parts of Hereditary that I'm positive were not supposed to be laughed at. So I don't know. If I get scared, I start laughing too. So I don't know. Maybe I thought it was funnier than it actually was. And I can see how some people would be annoyed that if they went into this thinking it was going to be like a really super scary movie, and then they're making jokes about like white people and the kill counts and stuff. It can seem a little out of place, but I liked it. I thought it was good. The comedy didn't seem out of place because it's not a horror movie. It's a thriller movie with like kind of a dark twist at the end. It's a dark thriller with a cool twist. That's what this movie is. Without spoiling anything, I thought the twist at the end was really cool. I didn't see that coming at all. It might have made some plot holes, but I'm not entirely sure. My roommate was seeing this for a second time, and so he knew it was going to happen, and he didn't mention anything about it ruining the movie with the plot twist, so I'm just kind of assuming it didn't make any serious plot holes. And just overall, I thought it was a really well done movie, and I very much enjoyed it. Knowing all that, Us is going to get a tendometer rating of 4.5 out of 6 tendies. It's a pretty awesome movie. It's just a little bit better than a box combo. I'm not a super into scary movie stuff, so this isn't exactly my perfect genre, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a very interesting story, and I want to go see it again. And just briefly, I want to touch on the ending. I think there's a lot of different theories out there about what this movie is a kind of a metaphor on, and I think you can really kind of morph it into whatever you want this movie to be about. At least that's kind of what I think. I think there's a lot of different things it could be kind of a political or social commentary on. I didn't think there was anything like racial commentary, kind of like Get Out was. It's probably more of like a social economical commentary, just a very broad metaphor for that maybe. but I think there's lots of theories. I can make a video on that if any of you want me to. So yeah, if you want that, put a comment in there. Otherwise, I think other people have covered it pretty well. That's about all I had for this one, but let me know what y'all thought down in the comments, and I will catch you on the next one.